Hey guys, I want to let you know that our medical gear is back.
Incoming right there.
Oh my fucking. Hey guys, what do you think? What about that, huh? Wide cameras not working. All right, but I got a close up. All right. Let's see if I got you guys here. All right. Yeah, 40 minutes. All right, you guys need to let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me. I apologize. My tech guy decided he wanted to go shopping an hour away right before the live stream. We're live. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman. Sometimes I get a little pissy at the beginning of these things. This is not YouTube's fault. This is jackassery at my end, right? Because we're not used to being on YouTube. And F-bomb counter's already at 1. All right, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take my mic off for a second so you guys don't hear the F-bombs. There we go. That was me closing the door. My wife's going to come running now. And she's going to want to know why I closed the door. There we go. All right, so we got everybody here. Now would be a good time to insert ads. Nah, I don't think we're going to do ads today. All right, who do I got? I got McMurdo Station, Shadow 3. Steven Rogers is here. Got a couple of you guys hanging out with us. That's awesome. Always great to have you guys hanging out with us here on a Tactical Tuesday. So you guys know the deal. If you guys have got things you want to talk about, all right, you can do a super chat, right? We love when you guys do super chats. Or you guys can just put the questions into the chat room. And from there, all right, got to load more documents. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get back to my live stream notes from the other night. Right? We had some stuff we went over. Yeah, pretty good. I got you guys right there. All right. All right. First off, I want to ask you guys, have any of you guys watched our episodes on Trigger Time TV? If you're interested, you can check that out at it's on Pursuit and Pursuit Up. Pursuit Up is free. Pursuit, you got to pay like a $5 a month subscription. Anyways, it's Trigger Time TV, decent show. And anyways, we filmed a bunch of, but the episode, I think the last one was like 3 a.m. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. just to watch myself on TV. So anyways, I haven't seen it. I was going to ask you guys if any of you guys have seen it. All right. Carl, I was defending you on some dorks channel the other day. Yeah, Frank, I appreciate that. There's some, you understand, there's a bunch of people out there that are so upset that I like my rare breed trigger. You know, it is what it is. I like guns that run well. I like products that run well. And honest, I don't get into all the politics and everything. So if there's some soy boys going back and forth bashing me like I'm a terrible person. They called me a Fed. They said, you're a Fed. You work for the ATF. And I'm like, well, obviously these guys haven't met me before. Anyways, so don't get hung up on these other guys in these chat rooms, guys. Please don't get upset about those guys. All right. So we are live. I apologize. We started a little bit late here, and I gotta text my son real quick. Where's my son at? He should have been like my last text. We are good now. So anyways, my son set up the live stream and then he took off with his fiance to go grocery shopping. Okay. It's not like I got all this plaster and stuff that fell from the ceiling when I slammed the door. Anyways, in his defense, he did get it running. The problem, though, is between YouTube and OBS and all these other programs that we try to use, working them together, they don't, a lot of times the programs don't like working together. And my son got used to setting it up for X, for Twitter, and now we're back to doing it on YouTube, and YouTube has changed how they do some of their settings. So, anyway, so my son's not here, and he won't be back for 40 minutes. That's why I told you guys we weren't going to get started until 7:40. But my wife was helping me out. She's like, "Hey, click right there. Just click that," and it wasn't giving me the information that I needed. But there was a copy button for the stream key, and turns out they don't want to show it to you. They just want you to use it. So they allowed me to copy it without looking at it. Man, I got plaster all over the place that fell out of the ceiling when I slammed that door. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that door fixed. I feel better though. You know, anybody see the short my son put up? It's a clip from an old video where I killed my last laptop. Yeah, well, apparently the shrink at the VA, she's a nice lady, but, right, everybody's seen therapists and everything. Apparently she didn't think that you should shoot inanimate objects. And I'm like, not an inanimate object, that's a laptop. It's a broken laptop that, hell reborn. I don't see anything wrong with shooting an inanimate object. And she's like, yeah, you shouldn't shoot an inanimate object. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, what about all the steel and paper targets we shoot? I mean, I'm all for replacing them with, death row inmates and stuff, but I don't think your ass is going to approve that either. So anyways, me and the shrink, we talked a bit, and basically what she said was, I'm okay, and everybody else around me, basically all my family members, need to go see therapists. That's basically what came out of that. That's some good coffee right there, guys. Starting to get a little cold already. We are going to finish this bottle off. Yeah, I'm going to finish that bottle off. Cold brew. Cold brew coffee Jägermeister. It's not bad stuff, guys. It's really not. Really not bad stuff. All right, so I promised you guys I'd have a bottle of the new Heraclitus Select this live stream because it was supposed to show up right before the last one. Well, it got hung up in Houston, and truth be told, it's supposed to be on my doorstep 8 o'clock in the morning. So this is still last year's batch, and this is full barrel strength. This is one of the only bottles left of it. It's completely sold out. That said, Heraclitus Bourbon, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, do you want to do another barrel? I'm like, yeah. But I'm like, that last stuff was a little rough, and I got guys that like their bourbon, but I I've got guys that like normal bourbon, you know, Woodford's Reserve, Jack Daniels, stuff like that. So he said, "Oh, I can do that." So this is the original one was barrel strength. This puppy was strong. The new one is it's got the red label on it instead of the green label. And I want to say it's like 91 proof or something like that. It's like your good Woodford's Reserve or a good expensive bourbon. It's still Kentucky bourbon, barrel aged. I want to say almost 6 years, and it's good stuff indeed. And I'm looking forward to getting my bottle here. Anyways, you guys know the story. Heraclitus was a Greek philosopher, and his he had this saying that, you know, for every 100 soldiers, 10 of them shouldn't even be there and often fled on the battlefield. 80 of them were just targets. 9 of them were the rear fighters, and we were lucky to have them. But there was that one warrior leader that would lead us all to victory. So Heraclitus bourbon, when they came up, that's their whole thing. And it's got the little saying right on the back of the bottle. And then it says, here's to the 9s and the 1s in your life. So that's why I was like, you know, that's kind of cool. So when he told me about it, I was like, you know, I will do a barrel with you. And those bottles all went out. Didn't get that many bottles out of it because it was really strong. He ended up losing money on my barrel. But all you guys that got them gave them to people that were the 9s and the 1s in your life. I thought that was cool. I gave my bottle to John Stryker Myers, the old Mac V Sog guy. You know, you guys know Tilt. He's written a bunch of books and everything. And Tilt is very cool. So anyways, you guys were asking, hey, Carl, can I get a bottle? Can I get a bottle? So when he mentioned, when he reached out to me and he said, let's do another barrel, I was like, yes, that's a great idea because I've got a bunch of guys wanting them. So anyways, if you're interested in reaching out, you go to heraclitusbourbon.com. And he's got a couple different ones that are in stock right now, but you're looking for the one that has got the tactical rifleman neck band right there. Again, it'll be red. It won't be green. This is from the original batch. My bottle supposed to arrive between 8:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Don't be out here stealing boxes off of my front porch. That is a good way to meet your maker right there, guys. Yeah, please don't come up on the hill and do any kind of criminal activity. The life you save may be your own. That's not bad right there. Not bad. I see we got Moody 2 in the chat room. Moody's wife makes some of the best apple pie moonshine ever. And she's totally badass indeed. All right. We got a couple questions come in already. All right. Lots of strange stuff going on as always. People getting upset online instead of training and becoming better warriors. Yeah. I know, and so one of you guys, I got the text, and he, I think it might have been Frank. I think he said his name was Cliff, though. Let me look real quick. I want to make sure I'm giving credit to the right guy here. It's Ed, a friend of Travis Hall's dog guy. Ed sent me a screenshot from this live stream that these 3 soy boys were on, and I guess they were bad-mouthing me. They had my video up on the screen. They're bad-mouthing me about me saying I like my rare breed trigger, you know, and they're like, you know, they're doing it. Well, I've met the guy from Rare Breed Trigger. I've actually met the guy, and they were the ones that fought the good fight against the ATF, took them to court, spent millions of dollars. And I understand now everybody's pissed that they're suing other people. I really don't give a shit, you know, I don't. They make a good product. And but for them to say that they're in bed with the ATF, they literally just took the ATF to court. I really don't think these guys are fans of the ATF. I really don't think that's the case. So, anyways, he's sending me pictures of this this live stream, and I'm looking. I'm zoomed in, and I was like, these are a couple of soy boys. One of them is literally, and they're like hiding their faces. One kid is wearing a baklava. He is sitting in his parents' living room, and you can see he weighs like 80 pounds, and he's just a little soy boy. And the other guy on the live stream, not even showing his face, he's got an avatar up because he knows he's going to get an ass whipping. And I'm like, guys like that don't even get my blood pressure up. That's like old T-Rex. The T-Rex kid there. Yeah, you wanna wear multicam and pretend you're military, okay, but don't act like you're better than the guys that actually served in the military. You're not. And there's a difference between guys that cosplay and the guys that come to tactical rifleman classes seriously wanting to learn. And that's the difference, guys. That's the difference. You guys are wanting to become capable citizens, and they're just wanting to go out and wear multicam and pretend that they're fast roping off of helicopters with Garand thumb and stuff. That's okay. That's okay. I got a couple other questions come in. So I will move on. But yeah, guys, here's the deal. All I ask is you don't have to lie for me. You don't have to take a shot to the nuts for me or punch to the throat for me. But if you ever see people running their suck about me and you know what they're saying is not accurate, have the balls to say, you don't know what you're talking about. Carl is this, and you don't have to lie for him. You don't have to exaggerate me. I'm not a SEAL Team 6 guy, was never a Delta guy. Guys, I don't have to exaggerate. I don't. I did 25 and a half years, most of that in special ops, and I have absolutely zero people on this planet that I need to impress. All I'm trying to do, guys, is make the world a better place. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. All right, not Waze, going back to JT. All right, what were you like in high school? Was there anything in your life that would let you know you would be a great soldier? Some of you guys, most of you guys know my story. At least I hope you guys do. I was in junior high school, and Saturday afternoon matinee on the big wooden TV set in my parents' living room. And this movie came on called The Green Beret. It's a John Wayne movie. It came out originally in 1969. I would have been 2 years old. All right. But anyways, I ended up seeing it while I'm in junior high school. And my mom had just got this new big metal box called a VCR. And you put this big cassette in it and push it down, and then you had this big button that allowed you to record. So anyways, I recorded the movie The Green Berets. I watched that thing every day. And I knew in junior high school, I'm going to go be a Green Beret. And that kind of gave me laser focus with my life. Now, because you understand, most people in high school, a lot of people in college don't know what they want to do with the rest of their life. They got things they're passionate about, but they really don't know what they want to do. I was focused. The problem, though, is you remember that kid in high school that ran around with the camouflage jacket on? Yeah, mine was Tiger Stripe. I got along. I didn't hang out with any particular clique. I was friends with all the brains all the brainiacs. I took all academic classes. My dad ran the physics labs at UConn. All right, I'm a smart cookie. So as I took all the academic classes, I'm friends with all the brains. I hung out with all the druggies, but I didn't do drugs. I was friends with the jocks and the losers, and I'm friends with everybody, but basically didn't really hang out with that many people. I really didn't. But I was friends with everybody, and got in trouble a lot in high school, and like almost all special ops guys did, because you. And they've done studies that basically society wasn't challenging us enough, and our brains just were running so fast. Yeah, we got low grades in school, even though we were capable of doing the material. My attention span just wasn't there. So even though taking academic classes, and I suppose I could have done great if I put my nose to the grindstone, but my attention span was about 5 seconds long. So yeah, no, I'm lucky to have just gotten to where I am. I was not a good. It took me years, guys, to mature enough, and that's why I'm very thankful that back in the day you couldn't go straight to Special Forces. You had to go to the regular Army first. You had to wait till you pinned on E5 Sergeant, and then you could go to Special Forces selection. Now they have what's called the 18 X-ray program, and out of everybody that tries to go straight to Special Forces, it's the guys in their late 20s, usually with some college under their belt, right? They've had a few years to mature more. They're the ones that do better, all right? That's just the truth, guys. It's just the truth. So I don't think I would have passed selection fresh out of high school. I needed to mature a little bit, and the military was good for me, guys. It really was. All right, next one's from Tracker. Carl, what level of retention holster do you recommend for EDC? And should we also weave the same rig in training, same holster operation all the time? Yes and no. I want you to have positive retention on your holster, all right? But understand a tactical holster, running around through the woods, getting in and out of vehicles, fast roping out of helicopters, parachuting, stuff like that. You need a holster that's not going to fall out, all right? And that's why at a minimum, I want you to have a level 1 holster, or what they call that, level 2. It's got the ALS button on that Safariland holster. A level 3 holster has got the ALS button, but it also has the bail. That is what cops are required to use. And I have those holsters because whenever I run classes strictly for law enforcement, I will go out a couple days before the class and I will practice putting the bail down. But if you work at it, dumping that bail and then hitting the ALS button, it's still all one movement if you practice it. We in the military, we didn't ever run. We ran bails for a while, but then we switched to using the ALS buttons. But for combat holster, I definitely want retention. And your competition guys, a lot of them, they run around with just the Kydex friction, like most of you carry EDC. And a lot of you guys show up to tactical classes with a friction holster also. And you do fine doing pew-pew, shooting at 7, 15, 20 meters. But as soon as you start going and shooting in competitions, that's got a lot of running and gunning where you've got to run and do obstacles and stuff. There are so many open class shooters with their sexy $3,000 STI or staccato pistols, that those pistols come out of the holsters, land on the ground. You're DQ'd, you're done, you're out. Well, real life, if that had been combat, you would have lost your pistol. All right. Can't lose your pistols, guys. Can't lose your pistols. So if I'm going to be going to a high threat area, I want retention on my pistol. Now, EDC, because that's what you initially touched on, if I'm using a concealed carry holster, I have found that I have not found a good concealed carry holster that has got push button release on it. I used to have one that I liked, but it wouldn't take a light, and then it wouldn't take an optic. And so right now I'm just using a friction. I wish I had my holster here, but I don't. All right. I'm just using a friction holster for concealment because I'm not going to ground. I'm not rolling around with anybody. Nobody's going to be grabbing my pistol. All right. That's just the truth. But if for a combat gun, and if I could find an EDC pistol with a good, I wish Safariland would make one that had retention on it. Yeah, I'd recommend retention. If it's available, run retention. That breaks my heart, guys, when I have guys show up to like our combat pistol class. I have a combat pistol class 29 September. I still got slots open. Montgomery County. I'll have guys that show up and they've got these sexy gun belts and beautiful rifles and stuff, and then their beautiful pistol with a good light and a good optic on it is just sitting in a Kydex holster with no retention on it. And I've just, after the first, 10 or 15 times you see somebody drop their pistol, it's just no fun, guys. It's just not. So tactical holster, for me, I want an ALS. And every time somebody comes out with a new holster, I wish I had a new one here to show you. Because I always get these new holsters. And try it out, Carl. It's as good as the ALS. Okay, I want something better than the ALS. Why would I change if the ALS is already what I'm used to? So I want something better than the ALS. I haven't found anything. Haven't found it. Wow, James Swain, you are the man. Wow. James, that's my uncle, James Swain, down in Texas. James, I miss you, buddy, and I hope you and your family are doing great. So anyways, yeah, guys, whenever possible, if you can find a holster that meets your needs and it has retention on it, please go with retention. Somebody actually mentioned the Serpa holster made by Blackhawk. And they were the latest hotness in the military, but then you notice the military completely went away from them. And there's a saying, good friends don't let friends shoot Serpa holsters. And I know there's a lot of people that support Serpa holsters, but those are usually people that don't train that much, or they just don't want to admit that it was poorly designed. What I mean by poorly designed is I love the concept of a button to release your holster or release your pistol. The ALS by Safariland is a button, but you're pushing it with your thumb and it releases your holster. The Serpa by Blackhawk, same thing. You have a button that you push, but the button is with your trigger finger. So you're already hitting a button. Your trigger finger's already doing this as you're drawing. Now, when you're in fight or flight, it's going to hit the button, and as soon as you clear the top of the holster, that finger's going to keep going. And not even in live combat, in training classes down at Tier 1 Group in Memphis, the Air Force were having so many negligent discharges with Serpa holsters that SF had already said no more, you're not allowed to use them. But the Air Force basically said nada, nope, stop, and we quit letting them use them. If a JTAC or TAC-P unit showed up and they had Serpa holsters, we would go get them holsters out of the supply room. We wouldn't let them use Serpa holsters. I have a Serpa holster up in the attic, guys, literally just for showing people. My reason for harping on Serpas is not to bash another brand. I'm not paid by Safariland. I am not paid by Blackhawk. As a matter of fact, I have made money off of Blackhawk. I have. I've made money off of Blackhawk, but I told Blackhawk I will never, ever help you promote the Serpa holster. I gave them constructive criticism. They said, thank you, but we're making millions of dollars a year with this holster. People keep wanting them. We're going to keep selling them. And I'm like, yeah, that's corporate America. I disagree with that, but, you know, I understand. Yeah, if you're running a Serpa holster, don't take it personal. Carl's not slapping you upside the face saying that you're a terrible person. No, Carl is challenging you to get an envelope, save your money, all right? And when you've got $200, go buy yourself a new Safariland ALS holster, and then put your Serpa holster in the microwave for 25 minutes on high, and get rid of the thing. Please get rid of it. All right. Lots of great holster companies out there, guys. Just please, nothing that requires the trigger finger to hit a button. All right, because there are others out there, not just Serpa. Okay. Jesse Spitler threw down 10 bones. Happy late birthday, Carl. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, guys. I am now a year older. I am 59 years old. Moody, too. Man, you guys are the bomb. You guys really are. Yeah, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it on Patreon because, you know, I don't want you guys coming to Patreon and everything and like, hey, I want you guys to send me birthday presents. No, that's just not me. It's really not me. Emery threw me a surprise birthday party, and I appreciate him doing that. And we had just a couple close friends over, nothing crazy, and it was fun, just hanging out. Got the yeah, we had a good steak. Mike Quigley brought some good macaroni salad. Byron Russell's wife brought the best Nana pudding you ever had. Old Aunt Helen got us some good corn on the cob. My wife made twice baked potatoes, right? Is that not a menu, right? That is awesome indeed. Sarah and Lauren, and they brought me a little birthday present. Not allowed. I told everybody no presents. Anyways, I had a very blessed day, so I appreciate you guys wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you so much, Jesse. That is awesome indeed. High altitude 5280. If the 16-inch barrel law wasn't in place, what barrel length would you have went for your TR rifle? 5.56 is what my gun is. 5.56. The shortest you should go is 10.5 inches. And I know a lot of guys will say, "Oh, I got an 8.5 inch, and it's awesome." It's awesome. It's fun to shoot because you got a big fireball coming out the end, and it looks cool. But you get shorter than 10.5 inches, and you're just not getting enough muzzle velocity. You might as well be using a 22 long rifle. I want that to sink in. 22 caliber, 22 long rifle, .22, 22 long rifle, and .223 and a longer casing. Projectiles ice picking the same hole through a guy. What makes 5.56 better than 22 long rifle is you have sped up that 22 long rifle projectile fast enough that you're getting secondary cavitation inside the body. But if you shorten that barrel too much, shorter than 10.5 inches, in close, you're no longer getting that secondary cavitation. You might as well be just shooting the guy with with field point arrows. You're just putting a hole through the guy. That's all you're doing. All right. Now, if they do away with the whole NFA, short-barreled rifles and everything, because my TR1A1, because it's getting ready to come out, it's a piston. It has got a 14.5-inch barrel with the pinned surefire break on. So it is legal 16 inches. It is, because I don't want to mess with braces and stuff like that. But yeah, if they were to do away with the NFA, I would drop it down. I would drop it down to 10.5 inches. I would, because it just, with a suppressor, it makes it easier for maneuvering in the house and around vehicles and stuff. Funny thing about the NFA, National Firearms Act, right? Because what does the National Firearms Act actually keep you guys from doing? Right? You can't have short-barreled rifles. You also can't have short-barreled shotguns, right? And it can't be shorter than 16 inches, okay? Well, if you guys go back and do the history behind the National Firearms Act, the whole reason for doing it, why do they, the question is why not shorter than 16 inches? Well, because they didn't want them concealable. They didn't want you to be able to put it up underneath a jacket. Think all the mobsters and everything back in the day. That was the whole thing, was they didn't want these guns used in crimes, and criminals would conceal firearms, all right? But when they originally tried to push the NFA through, it was for rifles, shotguns, and what else is concealable? Pistols. They were going to get rid of all pistols. You couldn't have rifles shorter than like 17 inches. You couldn't have shotguns shorter than like 17 inches. And you couldn't have pistols at all. Well, they went to go put this through Congress. What do you think all those cowboys down south, Texas, and what do you think, right? Because these boys literally carry pistols to work, right? A lot of these guys would still wear revolvers to work on their farms and stuff. What they say, they're like, oh no, you got to take pistols out of it. So you want to get the NFA passed, they had to take pistols out of it. Well, that left rifles and shotguns can't be shorter than, I want to say it was like 17 inches, 17 or 18 inches. Don't quote me on that. So it got passed. The problem, though, was Boy Scouts of America, at every one of their summer camps on the entire planet, every summer camp, the Boy Scouts of America, they do basic rifle marksmanship with 16-inch 22 long rifles and 22 shorts. And but these were 16-inch barrel 22s. So they're like, you just made every Boy Scout a felon, basically. So they went back and changed it to 16 inches so that the Boy Scouts could keep their training guns, their little bolt-action 22s. There's a lot more to it and everything, and I might be off on a syllable or a prepositional phrase here and there, guys, but there is always political drama in everything. Every law is a compromise, and the NFA is the same way. Now, you notice they're trying to take suppressors out of it right now. Okay, suppressors should be out of it because I wear hearing aids, and hearing aids suck. So I want, hell, I wish they could make explosives quieter, but it is what it is. I have already lost all my hearing, but I don't want you to lose your hearing. So deer hunting, stuff like that, I like being able to run a suppressor. Now for combat, I too like to run a suppressor to get rid of the flash. Not so much the sound, but to get rid of the visual signature. It allows me to stay more stealthy on the modern battlefield. So I'm very big on them removing suppressors from restriction. Now, and you can go to a gas station, sporting goods store over in Europe, and they got the little spinning rack, where you can get your chokes for your shotguns, and they'll have suppressors, mufflers, because that's all it is the muffler for the end of a rifle. They have silencers on the rack that you just buy for whatever caliber, threads on the end of your hunting rifle, and they're all over Europe because it just makes sense. All right. Some of the other things that are controlled, machine guns. Now, there are people out there that say civilians don't need machine guns. There's a lot of truth to that, right? But right, because you've got the same people that say people shouldn't have semi-auto guns. And then you've got other people that say you can't have more than 10 rounds. And you've got guys that say, you see how you start going down that slippery slope. All right. So me, I'm like a well-regulated militia shall not be infringed. When they say militia, guys, they're not talking about nut jobs in upstate Idaho and upstate New York. All right. That's not what they were talking. They were talking about everyone, every adult male at home. Not just has the right, they have the responsibility to be able to take care of their family. And if you had a band of marauders coming through, Indians or whatever, families would band together and move together tactically and take care of it. When it came time to defend the country, or they worked together in units. But they weren't like designed to like, well, you've got to be a member. No, not at all. Not everyone is your own militia. All right. Now, the term well-regulated doesn't mean regulated by laws and restrictions. If you go back and you look at what text actually meant back then, right? You've got Old English. You guys ever read some of the old Shakespeare stuff? Understand that was almost as close to Shakespeare as it was to now. English has changed a little bit. And well-regulated basically just meant that you better have your stuff squared away. Your gear better be ready to go. Your axe better be sharp. Your powder better be dry, and your rifle better be zeroed. And that just wasn't waivable. And but the government understood you guys needed to have that right. Okay, so where does that right stop? Well, you can't own a F-18 Super Hornet. Well, why not? Tom Cruise does, right? Well, you can't own a P-51 Mustang. And I actually know a bunch of pilots that own P-51 Mustang, right? Well, you can't own a machine gun. Sarah Tay, right there in the chat room with you. She's got like 40 full auto legal machine guns. Right? It's paperwork, right? But for the general populace, where should we draw the line? And my whole thing is it gets so much easier if you just say they've got a right. Now, individual people should go, I'm not very good at this. I got bad eyesight. I'm not good at driving anymore. I shouldn't own full auto. But that doesn't mean I don't have the right. So anyways, I think everybody should have the right, if they wanted to own a full auto. Now, I don't need a full auto. I don't believe in full auto. It's a waste of ammo and everything. But I believe you guys have the right to own a full auto if you want one. Now the cool part was, and that's why I did that rare breed video. I could care less about rare breed. All right. Honestly, I could care less. If you set all these things down without looking on the side of it, I couldn't tell you one brand from the other than all my rare breed forced reset triggers work awesome. But the fact that rare breed somehow got them to agree, okay, it's not full auto. I'm here to tell you guys, if you've ever picked up a forced reset, I'm not talking crappy bump stock where you can't hit nothing. I'm not talking a binary trigger that's pull and release. That's some unsafe, unreliable, just not accurate. The crappy triggers are just not worth your money. But this rare breed, guys, it is, I can't tell the difference at all. Can't tell the difference at all between full auto and that rare breed force reset trigger. I literally can't tell them apart. That's once you, man, it's badass. So I like that you guys now have the ability, if you want. Now I'm not saying you guys all need to go out and get them, not at all, because it's a waste of ammo for sure. But if you want to have fun and you can afford to feed it, they are fun to play with, right? So I've got videos. We've done it at our Patreon courses. We bring a bunch of patrons in and everything. And I have guys with full auto guns. We do another class. I'm sure I'll have Sarah bring a few full autos out there. And I got videos of like Mel Weatherman, Chris Weatherman's wife, shooting a saw full auto. I got videos of my wife shooting full auto the saw and the MP5s. And I got videos of my wife up in the back of the pickup truck. We got a Pendle set up in the back of the pickup truck, and she's rocking that Barrett 50 cal semi-auto. It's fun. It is fun. And you guys have the right to do that. So I support this stuff 100%. I really do. All right, and I know that that burns the bridge with a bunch of people when I tell them that, yeah, you've got the right to have it. Cool, I back your play, but I don't, because I'll point out people, I'm like, you see that inbred, that guy right there, you know, he's got more eyes than teeth, got his nylon holster hanging off the back with that big old Taurus pistol in middle of Walmart wearing a wife beater. Yeah, he don't need a full auto, but it's his right to have one if he wants it. All right, Ghost Enemy. Internet is idiotically up in arms about having or not having vertical foregrips. What's your opinion on them? I say have what you like, not hurting anyone. Yeah, 100%. Ghost, I agree with you 100%. And what you'll find, guys, is you'll have what's the latest hotness. And what's the latest hotness is at first AKs didn't have vertical foregrips. And then they came out with the AKMs. And I had some of these foreign weapon pools, and I've got an AKM with a vertical foregrip on it. And I'm like, that's actually not bad. We never had them on our M16s. And then we started adding flashlights and IR lasers and everything. Well, we put a handle on it because your hand couldn't get up around the rest of it. You needed something to hold onto the gun. And I even put it on my SO25. If I go right here, I'll show you guys this picture right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm right there in the middle of the picture. And if you look right in front of the magwell is a vertical foregrip. That I use that broomstick right there. Right there's my hand. Have my hand on it. It's right in front of the magwell, and that's where I always kept my hand. No big deal. All right. But what I found was I was locking in with it, but not so much grabbing it the more I started shooting. And guys were still running, they were running big vertical foregrips with like Surefire lights built into them and everything. And I got another picture, hard for you guys to see in this one. All right, so this one's a little harder for you guys to see, but if you look on that gun, you're gonna see there's not a vertical foregrip. All right, it's hard to see in that picture, but what it was I found this little hook, rubber hook. I want to say it was made by Magpul or somewhere like that. It's a little rubber hook. I still have it in my office. That was made for shotguns to keep your hand from going up over the front of the shotgun, help you rack it. And my reason, I put that onto my AR so it didn't have the big post hanging down. I started using basically lower profile. And now I know that's the latest hotness. Well, it wasn't the latest hotness back then, but it was what worked for me. All right. A lot of times you would see me, I wouldn't even have a 30 round mag in my gun. I had a 10.5-inch upper on my AR. This is when I was company sergeant major. I'm not in the gunfight. I'm wandering around taking care of my guys. I have the ability to get in the gunfight if I needed to, but my job wasn't as a gunfighter back then. So I would actually run a 20 round magazine in the gun. All the rest of the mags on my kit were 30 round magazines, but to save the weight of 10 extra bullets, make my gun move a little faster, I would run a 20 round mag in the gun. Now I know that's not sexy. That's not the latest hotness. Didn't matter. It was what worked for me. But fast forward, and it's like slings. You see guys went from 2-point slings to 3-point slings to 1-point slings, then back to 2-point slings, then back to 1-point slings, and now people are back to 2-point slings. Just because something is the latest hotness right now on the internet, understand ghosts, don't get sucked into that. My take on it is listen to what they're saying, and then if you've never heard that take before, try it. All right, but a lot of times you're going to find what's the latest hotness right now was also, right, because this is a young SEAL saying it, right? He's been a SEAL for 3 years. He's saying this is the latest hotness. Well, yeah, but it was also the latest hotness 5 years ago, and then it went away, and it was the latest hotness 4 years before that, and then it went away. All right, things come and go. So don't Ghost. You run what you want to run, and honest, you don't got to worry about what the guys at the range say. If they're giving you shit, don't sweat it. Happy birthday! Sorry I missed it. My 70th is July 30th. I know. You guessed. I was 80. I was also challenged growing up in New Jersey, but I'm a Texan now. God bless Texas. That is from Gordon. Thanks, Gordon. I appreciate it. Nice. Always good to get questions and comments from you guys, indeed. All right. Got another one here. Richard Bowl threw down 10 bones. Call your thoughts on using a rubber O-ring to help secure a suppressor on a threaded right-hand twist barrel to prevent suppressor walk-off when shooting. Happy belated birthday. Yeah, rubber O-ring is going to just make it worse. All right, literally will make it worse. All right, I cannot stress that enough. It will make it worse. And that's because the rubber will only compress to a certain point. So that would be like putting the lug nuts onto your car, on your tire, putting your lug nuts on with rubber washers. You're going to torque them down and you think it's going to be tight enough. But anytime you're changing types of material, those are going to expand and contract at different rates. the metals of the barrel, the metal of the suppressor, are going to expand at different rates than your rubber in the middle, and that suppressor is going to loosen up even quicker. If you want a threaded suppressor to not walk off ever, put it on the gun and leave it. Rock set it on, but even then, the part that's threaded on your suppressor, if you want it to stay on forever, you want it made out of the same type of metal that your barrel is. So in other words, if you're running a stainless barrel, but your suppressor is titanium, having it threaded on, even you torquing it down to a certain degree, those metals expand at different temperatures, and it's eventually going to loosen up. All right, rock set, Loctite, things like that help, but understand eventually you are going to loosen that thing. Please, please, guys, do not use rubber washers. All right, there's actually suppressor companies out there that do not want you, when you put the muzzle brakes on, to put on the suppressors. When you're putting muzzle devices on, most of your really good companies do not want you using crush washers. They want you to use shims to time it, all right? Because it's got to be, the puppy's got to be torqued perfect. You can't just stop it where things lined up. It's got to be turned until it is the correct tightness, all right? Yeah. That is some good coffee right there. Great questions tonight, guys. You guys are awesome. The Gus Stash is back, 5 bones. Sir, it's been months since I've seen Tactical Tuesday. I've got no notification, and search yielded negative results. Were you offline? No, buddy. We switched to X quite a while ago. We did not miss, but I hardly ever missed a Tuesday unless I was in the middle of a class or something. But no, I've been live on X the whole time. The problem, though, is most of your search engines, what's the #1 search engine on the planet? Google. Google is not going to show you stuff on other platforms, so they are going to show you what's on YouTube and Google. We're back on YouTube for that reason, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game. And as much as I want to hate YouTube, guys, I had to replace the battery in my wife's car today. All right, low battery light, charging fault, computer starts going crazy. Holy cow, this thing is dying right now. Pull in the parking lot and got their batteries in the trunk. And had to swap the battery out. Well, how do you do that? Well, you pull up a YouTube video, watch it, and then you go buy the battery, and it went in like a charm, literally like a charm. YouTube is awesome, except for a lot of their employees want to force their libtard values on the entire world, and that's not what they should be doing. It's really not, and they will suffer in purgatory for it. All right, next one is from Annalise and Kyle Beeler. It seems like I read a lot about Iran harassing this or that Middle Eastern country, but it never says anything about them fighting back. Are they? If not, why? Yes. UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain even, and Kuwait, and Jordan. Jordan's way out west. For you guys, it would be over here. Jordan has conducted strikes into Iran. UAE, even little Kuwait. What's smaller than Kuwait? Little Bahrain. Bahrain is a little island off the coast of Saudi Arabia. Even Bahrain has bombed targets in Iran. The problem, though, is you guys don't follow Arabic news channels, and they don't speak a lick of English over there, very little. So it just doesn't make mainstream media. And the Iranians aren't going to go and tell Al Jazeera, this crappy old Bahraini F-16 came and dropped bombs and we couldn't shoot it down. They're not going to tell anybody that. So Bahrain goes back and they tell the world, but the reality is a lot of it doesn't get out. There's a lot that's coming out over there, guys, that if you're not watching the correct news feeds, if you're just watching mainstream media, and I don't care whether you're watching Fox News at one end or MSNBC at the other end, understand it is filtered. They are giving you only what you want to hear over here, and they're only giving you only what you want to hear over here. The funny part is Fox News and these other channels are all owned by the same people. But when you own all these liberal media channels and you've got all these conservative people over here, you're not making any money off of them. Let's take one channel and have them feed these guys. Okay. That way you're getting money off of them. But also when you need to control the narrative, you're able to do it. And that's why you guys noticed the election when Trump lost to Biden, one of the first ones to say it's over was Laura Ingraham from Fox. She was saying what Fox was putting up on a teleprompter because they were controlling the narrative. I challenge you guys to, I'm not big on news, I'm big on information, and then you let me make a decision. And when my son came home from college, he'd been very indoctrinated, and it bothered me to hear some of the things that he said. So it happened to be around the time of the whole Trump January thing going on, and I didn't want to be anywhere near anything. You all doing your boogaloo and everything. I don't want nothing to do with it. So I told my son, I'm like, hey, you're going to ride with me. We're going to drive out to Salt Lake City. We're going to pick up our camper on the back of the Jeep. He got in the vehicle, got in the Jeep, the Beast, right, 6'4" Hemi, and he got in there and he tried to put his earbuds in. Right, he's gonna put his music on. Right, he's in a death metal band. I'm like, no, nope, we're not doing that. We're gonna talk. You and me, we're gonna talk, and we're not gonna fight. We're not gonna argue. We're gonna have meaningful conversations. And all I want him, and he can have any opinion he wants, but I want him to be a free thinker. And I challenge you. If you guys are here, we're fairly like-minded, though I guarantee you I could piss all of you off with some of my views. All right. I'm not Republican. I am American. I am 100% American. Right. I will always be American. But I challenge you to do the same thing with your families, your kids. If you've got a kid that's out there flopping a little bit, don't give up on them. And this is for all of you moms out there too. And you dads, don't give up on the kids if they've gone far off the deep end. Don't lose your cool, and you're not going to do it overnight, but try to encourage them to be free thinkers. And I do it all the time. I do the SF thing. When I have liberal people around me, I tell them what they want to hear, but then I soften it up a little bit at the end. And it catches them off guard, like, wow, I didn't think I'd hear Carl say this. Well, okay, now I understand why Carl is seeing it that way. Maybe Carl's not that out there. Maybe I should listen. See, I'm doing the SF thing. I'm winning hearts and minds. I'm getting the gendies, the foreign officers of the unit I'm working with, foreign internal defense, get them to fight for themselves. I'm getting them to do what I want them to do, but I just need to make them all think it came from their officers' mouths, not mine. Easy stuff. All right. James Swain, Tactical Rifleman is back. I fixed my holster the same way you have yours set up, and it's never let me down. Thanks, James. Sincerely awesome. Moody, threw down 100 bones. Moody, you're the man. I look forward to seeing Moody, hopefully David Bobine, and all you guys. October, they're doing a fallout, mountain readiness fallout back at Harmony, North Carolina, and Littletown. And I'm going to be there, me and Emery and Randy. I'm not even worried about teaching classes or anything. I just want you guys to come out and hang out with us. Come out, break bread. We'll hang out around the campfire in front of my camper. And let's hang out. Moody, I haven't seen you in way too long, buddy. Way too long. Richard Bowles back. What's a good holster for the Glock 43X with optic and Streamlight XLR-7 light? Here's the deal, guys. There's a bunch of good holster companies out there, Alien Gear and Blade Tech, and there's a bunch of them. I've had like 4 or 5 holster companies used to sponsor live streams, and they would send me holsters, and they're all basically the same. You know, it's a Kydex holster that has been pressed to fit your optic with your light on it. And so rather than me push you toward in the direction of one brand or the other, pick a good, reputable holster company and go there, put in 43X, put in the name of your optic, put in the name of your flashlight. And a lot of them have their website set up so that you can basically like build the car that you want, you know, all the features. You get your holster the way you want it, and then look at it and say, will that work or will that not work? And if you're running a weird light, what I mean by a weird light is I got this new O-light. It's called the PLX, and I'm like, yeah, PLX made by Primary Arms. They're like, no. This is the PLX ones made by Olight. And I'm here to tell you guys, it is a totally badass light. Totally badass. I'm going to do you guys a little video about it here coming up soon. But I've been beating on it. I wanted this thing to die. I wanted it to die. I can't kill this thing. And the light on it, you can go from clean wide light to light up the whole room. I mean clean. There's no artifact, there's no shadow, no nothing. All right, on off easy, on off. Or you can flip the switch and it goes down to a torch beam of clean light for like down the road, down the long hallway, down the alleyway, across the parking lot. And it's clean light, and it's a little flip of the button with your support hand thumb. And I was like, that's totally badass. The problem with it was finding a holster. There are a couple of companies that make holsters for it now, but what I found and what you can do, any weird light combo, find your local guy that does Kydex. Most of your indoor shooting ranges, go there and say, hey, do you have somebody here that does Kydex? And they'll say, yeah, we actually do Kydex holsters here. You give it to them, give them the pistol with the light and the optic on it. You come back the next day, they've got you a Kydex holster that's custom fit to your gun, and it costs you like $40. It's not going to cost you very much at all. A lot cheaper than some of the holsters that I have used in the past that suck. All right, KN Squatch. Question for Carl. To have room for backup rear sight, I put my low power variable optic cantilever mount on backwards At what distance will my accuracy begin to be effective? Cantilever mount on backwards. At what distance will my accuracy begin to be effective? All right, I'm trying to see if I have a mount. I think this is what you're talking about. What he's talking about, guys, is instead of putting it this way with the scope forward, right, back of the gun here, he wanted to have that backup sight. So instead what he did was he put his mount like this. It does not matter, all right, contrary to what the guys will tell you, but there is an exception. The exception is if you have a mount that has got an MOA cant built into it. What I mean by that is some of your precision rifle mounts, to give you more run in your turrets, the mount will have like 10 or 20 minutes of angle cant already built into it. All right? In which case, if you turned it backwards, you'd be screwed. But so long as it is a level mount with no cant, all right, the precision rifle guys will tell you extreme recoil with it on backwards. It's gonna this is gonna bend from recoil. Total bullshit, guys. Yes, this way a little bit better. The shot goes down into the screws, but it's really not gonna matter on most of your guns. It's really not. It's just not. Now understand, if you're running a low power variable optic, I don't want you to have your backup rear sight underneath the scope, because you can't just flip it up without taking your scope off. I would rather you run 45 degree instead of straight up and down backup iron sights. If you're running a low power variable optic full time, I want you to have 45 degree offset iron sights, and then you just cant the gun. You don't have to look through that scope. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Guys, I apologize. The live stream started off rough this morning, or this afternoon. Leif LeBlanc, 5 Bones. He's my ranger buddy down at Round Canopy Parachuting Team. Happy to see you on YouTube again. I hope your birthday went well. I can't believe we're 59 years old. Rangers lead the way. Yeah, Leaf, his birthday's like one day after mine. And yeah, happy birthday, buddy. Leaf, I don't know if you got word. Remember the president down that Round Canopy Parachuting Team, Bill Markham. Bill Markham passed away. He wrecked his motorcycle over in Europe, and they ended up having to pull the plug on him. But he will be sorely missed indeed. Bill Markham, one of the greatest human beings I ever met. Life is not forever, guys. Make peace with the Lord and live the best life that you can. David Bodine for the Carl Fund, the Preservation of Carl Erickson Fund. I always appreciate it when you guys make donations. Guys, my back sucks. I've got a bad hip now also. And so me and the wife, we're actually talking about getting a new mattress. So, yeah, pitch. If you want to pitch money, I don't know what mattress to get. I haven't done the research yet or anything. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys. You guys helping pitch. I'm sorry I'm yawning. I had to get up early. I had a doctor's appointment today with my wife, and then I got to change a battery in the middle of the parking lot. Gavin Simpkins back. Hi, Carl, comma. The video I tagged you and a bunch of others about on explaining what bacteria would like when pulling a bullet out 30 plus years ago with today's tech, the people going into doing medical. Gavin, I don't know what you're asking here, dude. Explaining what bacteria. I'm not sure what Gavin's getting at, but bullet wounds, guys, you understand that bullet flies right through you, but chances are you didn't just surgically prep the entry location or the exit location. Chances are you're outside, and on the modern battlefield, you might be covered with, I don't know, a sweaty t-shirt, and then a dirty, dusty, muddy uniform, and then you're in a dirty, dusty, crappy environment. You've got crappy water, and there's all kinds of stuff. And when that bullet comes out of the gun, it kind of sterilizes itself. All right, actually does. All right, the rate it's spinning at, it's very hot projectile. But when it hits you, it's not a laser beam going right through. It pushes all that cloth and everything through your body. Now, if it was to catch, let's get even more bacteria. Let's say it nicks large intestine, small intestine, stomach, gallbladder, anywhere like that, that has a lot of normal body flora. You're now leaking that stuff all inside the body. So it's not so much the bullet itself, it's everything that was outside that entry wound location that is being pushed into and through the wound, and then your own nasty bacteria that you need for digestion in your digestive tract. It works great at breaking down all that food and stuff. It is not designed to be in your inner abdominal space, not at all, and it will cause a lot of problems, to the point to where it got so bad, post-operative infections were so bad on the modern battlefield, the global war on terror, that they started issuing what was called a combat pill pack. It would have 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol for the pain. It would have one Celebrex in there, or one of the other anti-inflammatories. You would have your little fentanyl lollipop to also work on the pain. But then it also had two types of antibiotics, one anaerobic, one aerobic, both broad spectrum antibiotics. And the key was, as quickly as you could stop the bleeding and secure the airway and breathing and everything, once the patient was stable, you were to immediately tear open his own pill pack in his medical kit, give it to him, give him a drink of water, because they wanted you to get those antibiotics and medicines into the bloodstream as quick as possible, so they could already start fighting that infection before the golden hour was up. That's how important that is. All right. Okay, we're still moving here. High Altitude's back. Jake Snyder here. How you doing, Jake? Sup? Sup? Happy belated birthday, brother. Looking to re-zero my 5.56, but might only have 20 yards at my local range. Suggestions for a 200-yard zero. Sure missed my company ranges and my Colorado ranges and mountains. Honest, Jake, I would ask around, and if you zeroed at 25 yards, all right, that basically gives you a 300-meter point blank zero, but that's from top of the head to the bottom of the torso. All right, when we say we want a 200-meter point blank zero, that's because we're shooting head-sized targets. And out to 200, if you zeroed at 200, the bullet does not rise more than 5 inches or drop more than 5 inches, out to about 220, 230 meters, depending on your muzzle velocity, weight, projectiles, stuff like that. You can't do that at 20 yards, right? That's what he said, guys. So what do? Do you just say, well, I'm not even going to zero my gun at all? No, he can get it close. So what I want you to do is understand most people have a between 36 yard and 55 yard where it crosses line of sight, and then it comes back down to hit at 200, right? Crosses, like my rifle, it's 47 meters, crosses at 47, and then it comes down perfect again at 200, 47. Now, at 45, it's a little bit low. At 30, it's a little bit low. At 20, it's going to be a little bit lower also. So what I want you to do is, literally, I want you to, when you go to zero it at 20, all right, I want you to be about a ½ inch low, all right, ½ inch low at 20. But you make sure that windage is perfect, dead nuts on perfect, because that's half of your equation. Understand, guys, if you're fighting on a modern battlefield, you're not getting hits right away. Right? I want you to walk rounds in front of them, shoot low, and watch where the dirt blows up. Oh shit, the wind's blowing my bullet a lot. I'm hitting off at 3 o'clock. Well, you didn't see it before because the bullet was going right by their head at 3 o'clock. Right? But now you know, shift over a little bit. But the other thing with skipping low, when we get into it, when we do our Battle Rifle 1 course, is that bullet skips, hits the ground, that projectile then angles up a couple inches off the ground, still continues to travel, but you're also throwing projectiles, dirt, gravel, everything else. And while it might not be as lethal on the bad guy, you're still hitting the bad guy with that stuff. So you doing a 20-yard zero that's a little bit low is going to get you in the ballpark. And then the next time you get access to a 200-yard range, all right, if you check around like the local sporting places or look online for like the local rod and gun club, there's usually a lot of private rod and gun clubs that say, you know, hey, I'm interested in becoming a member, but I'd like to see your facility first. You know, hey, I'd like to, you guys got a 200-meter range, 200-yard range. I would like to zero my rifle. And if they're sincerely looking for new members, they will let you do that. All right? I gave up oxygen. I just do coffee. All right, decent question. All right, J.D. Watson, not to be outdone, 20 bones. In the balcony rappel scene near the end of the Green Berets, John Wayne's character, Colonel Mike Kirby, appears to rig his rope through the carabiner, then commonly called a snap link in the Army, known as a fatal hookup. That's a good catch. I remember somebody telling me that also. Understand, guys, they were not going to let John Wayne, rappel, all right? There's a spot earlier on in the movie where he picks up a M16 that his point man had gotten in it with a Viet Cong guy and had killed him. I know he killed them all, otherwise they wouldn't have left this. And he takes the M16 and he breaks it on the tree. Yeah, that was a styrofoam gun too. It's the movies. Understand, guys, John Wayne was never in the military. And for 1969, the special effects and the realism that they did for that movie, you know, that movie was filmed at Fort Benning, Georgia. I believe it was Fort Benning. I thought it was Fort Bragg. No, they filmed it at Fort Benning, Georgia. That's kind of cool. You know, that's kind of cool. But good catch. I have, JD, I have been told that before. I actually have that DVD here somewhere. Guys, I haven't seen it in forever. You understand, me growing up, before I went in the military, John Wayne was my hero, right? I watched the movie The Green Berets every day. But once I got in the military, I still, in a recon platoon, I still wanted to go be a Green Beret. but you had the movie with Sylvester Stallone come out and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I never really got sucked into looking up to Arnold, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone and everything because they're actors. My new heroes became the MACV-SOG guys that were acting, because remember, I joined in 1985. We were a peacetime army then. There were no conflicts going on. You had Grenada, whoop-de-doo, right? But there was no war going on. So my heroes were the MACV-SOG guys. I would get Soldier of Fortune magazines, and I started reading some of the early MACV-SOG books, and so those guys, John Stryker Myers, and all those guys were they were my heroes. I got a couple of them. I got one that comes in the chat room. I don't know if he's in there right now. I've had him on a live stream before, and I'm not gonna dignify him by throwing his name out there right now. All right, I think I might be caught up. I'm all caught up. Guys, we are at 1 hour and 33 minutes. I'm going to give you guys a chance to hit me up for some more questions real quick. Real quick, though, home defense pistol. That is this weekend at the Louisville Armory. The course is on sale. You can sign up at tacticalrifleman.com. I would love to get a couple more students in it. It's too hot to do shit outside, guys. Come to Louisville Armory, air-conditioned classroom, air-conditioned range. We are going to have us a blast indeed. Sign up at tacticalrifleman.com. All right. 2 September. I know that's a month. That's over a month away, but 2 September. We are going to do a live stream. It's going to be on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday. We're going to do it at the Redneck Riviera. That is John Rich's bar in Nashville. I'm putting this out there over a month ahead of time because I want to invite you guys. If you all want to come to one of our live streams, be right there in the studio audience, hang out with us. John Rich might show up. I think Barry Duke from Surefire is coming. They're trying to get Chris Barrett. Jeff Herring, the president of Fight Light, he makes that belt-fed upper on the AR I'm shooting all the time with my rare breed trigger. Jeff is going to be there. Steve Holland's going to be there. Randy, I think, is going to be there. He's still in Montana right now. Anyways, it's going to be a great live stream, and I just love to, because you understand with all those people there, I'm going to let Steve run the whole thing, and but that means I get to sit out in the audience with you guys, and I would love to hang out and meet you guys in person. So, anyways, I look forward to you guys there. Middle of the month, couple weeks away, I have got on the 15th and 16th of August, I have got low light, no light shooting. That is that class. I kill the lights 8 o'clock in the morning. And I got AGM Global Vision to sponsor the class again. Their boxes have come in. And I have got night vision and helmet mounts. And I've got aiming lasers, and I have everything you need. All you got to do is show up with your rifle and your pistol and your ammo, and it is going to be a great class. 15 and 16 of July. It's only a couple weeks away, guys, and the class is half full. That's okay. I'll teach a half a class. But again, that class is on sale also. I would like a couple more students. Now, because it's only half full, it looks like I'm not gonna sell all of those nods. So at the end of the course, I will be sending those brand new night nods back to AGM Global Vision. I will offer them up to my patrons. So for patrons out there, if you're on the fence about maybe you want an early Christmas present for yourself, I will have nods left over for sale. All right, that I will. All right, I already mentioned Heraclitus bourbon. I got one class left in the month of August, and that is 29 August. This is in Tennessee at the Montgomery County Shooting Complex. That is combat pistol, one-day class. It is a Saturday. I got a bunch of cops, SWAT guys, and everything local that want to come. Before I give them slots for taking care of my family, I want to offer it up to you guys. So if you are interested in getting some good combat shooting in with your pistol, it's a one-day class. We have changed this class a little bit from how we used to teach it. I have pushed all the all like draw and all the fundamentals. We touched on the fundamentals, of course, a little bit, but we have a separate course called Pistol Fundamentals. And but combat pistol, we start the day right off with anatomy shooting, and it's a good time. It's going to be fun indeed. I appreciate my moderators putting them up for me, indeed. I see I got Heraclitus here. We were talking about you guys earlier. Again, hope guys, my bottle shows up tomorrow, 91 proof. And besides it being good bourbon, it's Kentucky bourbon, guys. I told you guys last week, I didn't tell you this week, but I gave my bottle to John Stryker Myers. We were at the Gold Star ceremony at 5th Special Forces Group. That's the ceremony we use we bring all the Gold Star families in who, their husband or their father was killed in the war. And John Stryker Myers was there. I'm there because they're putting up a stone for Marcus Foster, a buddy of mine. Anyway, so I'm there, and we go to the Hall of Heroes afterwards, and John Stryker Myers is in there with a couple of the other MACV-SAW guys. I grabbed another buddy of mine. I'm like, hey, man, will you hold my phone and record this? And I took my mics. I put one on me. I put one on John Stryker Myers. I walked him over to the area of the walls where all the MACV-SAW stuff's hanging up, and I gave him my bottle of Heraclitus bourbon, because to me, right, because the Heraclitus motto is for the 9s and the 1s in your life. Well, John was one of those warriors, one of those 1% that I always looked up to. So anyways, I presented him with this bottle. I put it live on the internet, kind of cool. I don't care about it being on the internet. I care about, I actually got to give it to one of the heroes that I looked up with. Well, you guys saw the video and you're like, man, Carl, that's awesome. Where do I get one of these bottles? They had already sold out. So let's do it again. So anyways, I've already ordered a couple bottles. Again, they're supposed to be here between 8:45 tomorrow morning and 11:45 tomorrow morning. I will be here to meet the UPS guy. But if you are interested in getting your own, again, it'll have the red bottle instead of green because it is not, this one is barrel proof. That one is 91 proof. It's going to be easier to drink. And you can order them at Heraclitus Bourbon. Looking forward to it indeed. All right, let's see what other stuff I wanted to talk about. Guys, I think we covered everything. You guys got one last yell for questions. Donut is saying we're all caught up. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I am going to wrap this up tonight. Next week's live stream is going to be a Military Monday live stream. Next week, we're going to do it on Monday instead of Tuesday. Mark your calendars, all right? I will send out announcements, but I'm going to do it Monday next week because I am on the road for class again on Tuesday. I got a class Saturday and Sunday. I come home Monday, we'll do the live stream that night, and then I'm on the road. I'm gone all day Tuesday. I don't arrive at my next destination till probably 10 p.m., and that's too late to do a Tactical Tuesday. All right, so next week's live stream, we'll still do it on YouTube. It's going to be Military Monday, and then we'll go back to Tuesday after that. Now, for my patrons, for all my patrons, especially my Silver Star patrons, Stephen Rogers, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you pitching that down. We are going to do tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Let me make sure I'm not talking smack here. Check my calendar. All right. 29 July, Patreon Zoom live stream at 7 p.m. CST. So for all of my Silver Star patrons, I will see you guys back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. CST. I'll see Stephen Rogers there. I'll see a bunch of, hopefully Donut can make it if he's not out, making the world a better place. I'm sure Stephen will be working. It's always awesome getting the Silver Star and above patrons together. All right, so that is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. CST. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Again, I want to thank my patrons. But I really want to thank my two moderators, Donut and JT, for the hard work. We start building these numbers up again. And you guys, I don't know if you guys remember back in COVID, we'd have hundreds and hundreds of viewers here, and we'd get trolls. We would get trolls here just doing stupid crap, and my moderators were needed. Hopefully, don't get me wrong, I don't want trolls here, but hopefully we can get our numbers back up again. Frank threw down a question. You can upgrade the ProTech with new hardware too. They're still used by soft for training. Yep, they are indeed. ProTechs are awesome. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. David Bobine, everybody, y'all take care. And yeah, I will see you guys next time, Monday. Y'all take care and shoot straight.